of this great inheritance and of the duties and heavy responsibilities of sovereignty, which have now passed to me.
A decision lands inside Buckingham Palace. It does not arrive with trumpets, it does not arrive with cameras. It arrives quietly, the way the most dangerous decisions always do. And it carries the weight of decades. Queen Camilla's title, the very thing that transformed her from the most controversial woman in British public life into the crowned figure standing beside King Charles III. That title now sits at the centre of a storm that royal commentators say could reshape the future of the monarchy itself. According to multiple reports circulating across British media, discussions about Queen Camilla's official designation have intensified in recent months, and the names attached to those discussions have stunned royal watchers on every continent. King Charles III, her own husband, and Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, his sister. Two of the most senior royals in the world, reportedly aligned, reportedly in agreement, and reportedly willing to revisit a title that Queen Elizabeth II herself endorsed just 2 years before her passing. Now, before anyone jumps to a conclusion, pause, because this story is not what it looks like on the surface. And if you have been following this channel, you already know that the biggest royal moves never happen where the cameras are pointed. Hi viewers, if you could ask one member of the royal family one honest question about Camilla's title, who would you choose? Drop your answer in the comments. What you are about to hear is not a gossip segment. This is a forensic breakdown of power, strategy, and institutional survival, told through one title, 4 key figures, and a monarchy facing a question it has never been forced to answer this openly before. The question is not whether Camilla deserves the title. The question is what happens to the crown if the title stays. And what happens to the crown if it goes? Royal biographers have debated for years whether modern titles truly serve the person who holds them or the system that grants them. That debate has never been louder. And by the end of this analysis, you will understand why the real story was never about Camilla at all. It was about a move being quietly made right now by the future King of England. Every chess game has a board, and every board has positions that matter more than the pieces themselves. The monarchy operates on the same principle. It is not about who wears the crown, it is about where each figure stands and what their position protects. Right now, 4 figures dominate this board, and understanding their positions is the only way to understand why a single title has become the most debated symbol in modern royal history. King Charles III sits at the centre. He waited longer than any heir in British history, over 70 years, before ascending to the throne. Royal analysts have described his vision as a slimmed-down monarchy, a smaller, more cost-effective institution built for the 21st century. He carries the legacy of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, while trying to modernise an institution that resists change the way stone resists water. Queen Camilla occupies the space directly beside him. Her journey from the most criticised woman in Britain to the crowned Queen Consort took nearly 3 decades. Public opinion polls tracked her transformation year by year. She went from a figure most Britons wanted nowhere near the throne to a woman who, according to a 2022 YouGov survey, had earned cautious acceptance. Her position on the board is tied entirely to Charles. If his authority strengthens, hers holds. If his reign faces questions, her title becomes the first target. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, holds a different kind of power. She does not command headlines the way her brothers do. She commands respect.
But it was an accident, so yeah. They asked me to go and open the East Stand when it was built at about 2 weeks' notice because they'd been let down. I can't remember who by. And as it happened, the horse was lame, so I wasn't competing at the weekend.
Documented as one of the hardest working royals for over a decade, completing more than 500 official engagements in multiple years, Anne represents something the modern monarchy struggles to replicate: consistency without controversy. Her position on the board is not about succession, it is about credibility. And then there is Prince William, Prince of Wales, the future, the next generation, the man who will inherit not just a crown, but every unresolved problem sitting on this board right now. Commentators have noted that William's public approach differs from his father's: less traditional ceremony, more direct public engagement. His position is the one every other piece on this board ultimately revolves around. Here is the mistake most people make when they watch the royal family. They look at personalities, they follow emotions, they pick sides. The palace does not operate on emotion, it operates on stability. And the most important piece on this board may not be the one making noise right now. The year is 1994. A single television interview changes the trajectory of the British monarchy. Prince Charles, in a recorded conversation with journalist Jonathan Dimbleby, confirms his relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. The admission lands like a grenade in the court of public opinion. Princess Diana is still alive, still married to Charles, still the most photographed woman on the planet. And overnight, Camilla becomes the most hated woman in Britain. That is not an exaggeration. Public polling from the mid-1990s consistently showed disapproval ratings for Camilla that rivaled those of major political scandals. Tabloid newspapers ran daily coverage. Crowds booed when her name was mentioned at public events. She received hostile letters. She could not appear in public without security concerns. When Princess Diana died in August 1997, the hostility intensified to a level that royal historians have described as unprecedented for any figure connected to the crown. The public grief over Diana was enormous, emotional, and deeply personal for millions of people across the world. And within that grief lived an anger that needed a direction. Camilla absorbed that anger for years, quietly, without public response, without press conferences, without fighting back. And then something shifted. It did not happen overnight. It happened across decades. Slowly, carefully, strategically, the palace began the work of reintroducing Camilla into public life. Joint appearances with Charles increased gradually. Official royal duties were added to her calendar. Charitable causes were attached to her name. Each step was calculated. Each step was measured against public reaction. By 2005, Charles and Camilla finally married. The ceremony at Windsor Guildhall was modest by royal standards. No grand cathedral, no global broadcast rivaling the 1981 wedding of Charles and Diana. It was restrained, intentional, designed not to provoke. And for years after that marriage, Camilla held the title Duchess of Cornwall. Not Queen, not Queen Consort, Duchess. The palace made that choice deliberately, aware that the public was not ready for anything more. Then came February 2022. Queen Elizabeth II, in a written statement marking her Platinum Jubilee, expressed her sincere wish that Camilla would be known as Queen Consort when the time came. That single sentence from the most respected monarch in modern history did what no press strategy could accomplish on its own. It gave Camilla institutional permission, royal legitimacy from the highest possible source. When Charles became king in September 2022, Camilla officially became Queen Consort. The title was real. The transformation was complete. Nearly 3 decades of public hostility absorbed and outlasted. But here is what the chess analyst sees that casual observers miss. Acceptance given can also be acceptance reconsidered. A title granted by one era can be questioned by the next. The same public that watched Camilla's slow rise also remembers why that rise was necessary in the first place. And the monarchy does not only manage crowns. It manages memory. It manages what the public is willing to forgive and what the public refuses to forget. The question forming right now inside the institution is not about the past. It is about who benefits and who pays when that memory gets reopened. Princess Anne walks into a room and the temperature changes. Not because of glamour, not because of controversy, because of a reputation built across 5 decades of relentless, documented public service. The Princess Royal has been recorded by the Court Circular, the official daily record of all royal engagements, as one of the busiest working members of the royal family for years running. In some years, she has completed more official engagements than any other senior royal, including King Charles III. She visits hospitals, she opens facilities, she attends military ceremonies. She shows up, does the work, and leaves without a headline. And that consistency is exactly why her name carries so much weight in the current title debate. Royal commentators have pointed out that Anne represents a version of the monarchy that a significant portion of the British public still deeply believes in. No drama, no scandals, no tabloid wars, just duty, performed day after day, year after year, without complaint and without reward beyond the job itself. Now compare that image to the version of the monarchy that dominates the daily news cycle today. Celebrity appearances, global media coverage, social media strategy, branding, influence. The younger generation of royals, led by Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, operates in a different world than the one Anne was raised in. This is not a criticism of either approach. It is an observation about a tension that exists inside the institution itself. Anne represents the old code. Work hard, stay quiet, let the duty speak for itself. William represents the new reality. Engage the public, manage the image, adapt, or risk losing relevance. King Charles III stands between both worlds. He understands tradition. He was raised inside it for over 7 decades. But he also recognizes that a monarchy that refuses to evolve faces a different kind of threat. Not revolution, not abolition, something quieter and far more damaging: irrelevance. And this is where the title discussion connects to something much larger than Camilla. Because when analysts debate whether Queen Camilla's title should be formally reconsidered, they are not only debating one woman's role, they are debating the direction of the entire institution. Should the monarchy protect every title it has given? Or should it be willing to reconsider decisions when public trust demands it? Anne's career answers that question one way. William's future may answer it another. And the decision that King Charles makes right now about titles, about structure, about legacy will determine which answer the Crown follows into its next chapter. Strip away the headlines. Strip away the emotions. Strip away the public fascination with Camilla's title and ask one cold, strategic question. What is this really about? Because it was never about a title. Titles do not generate this level of institutional debate on their own. Queen Consort, Queen, Duchess. These are words printed on official documents and announced at state functions. They matter symbolically.
We're just spending £multi-million on doing a swimming which was supposed to have a life of 25 years.
But symbols only become battlegrounds when they represent something the institution can no longer ignore. And what the institution can no longer ignore is this. The British monarchy is facing an identity crisis that no title change can solve. This is the midpoint. This is where the surface story ends and the structural story begins. In 2023, King Charles III announced plans to proceed with what royal commentators have called the slimmed-down monarchy. Fewer working royals, tighter budgets, a smaller public footprint. The idea was not new. Charles had reportedly advocated for a leaner institution for over 2 decades. But now, as king, he had the authority to make it real. The implications are enormous. Fewer working royals means fewer people representing the crown at public events, charitable functions, and diplomatic engagements. It means every remaining member carries more institutional weight. And it means any controversy attached to a senior royal, including a title controversy, does not just affect one person. It affects the credibility of the entire structure. Public trust data tells a complicated story. According to YouGov polling, the monarchy's overall approval ratings have fluctuated in recent years. Younger demographics show notably less attachment to the institution than older generations. And every public controversy, whether it involves finances, family disputes, or titles, chips away at the goodwill the crown depends on to survive. Now connect the pieces. Charles wants a smaller monarchy. A smaller monarchy needs every member to carry maximum public trust. Camilla's title, no matter how officially earned, still divides public opinion. That division creates a vulnerability. And in an institution that is actively shrinking its own ranks, vulnerabilities do not get ignored. They get managed. This is what the chess analyst sees. The title discussion is not about punishing Camilla. It is not about rewarding Anne. It is not about satisfying the public's emotional attachment to Princess Diana's memory. It is about risk management. Every corporation, every government, every institution that survives across generations understands one principle: protect the brand. And the brand of the British monarchy, worth an estimated value in the billions when factoring tourism, cultural exports and national identity, cannot afford a permanent symbol of division at the centre of its leadership. That is the calculation: cold, strategic, institutional. And here is the part that should keep viewers watching. The title question is only the first domino. Because once an institution demonstrates it is willing to reconsider a title given by the previous monarch, given with the personal blessing of Queen Elizabeth II herself, a new precedent gets created. A precedent that says no position within the royal family is permanent. No title is guaranteed, no role is untouchable, and if that precedent becomes real, it changes everything, not just for Camilla, for every member of the royal family who assumes their place in the institution is secure, including the ones who have not yet taken the throne. Here are chapters 6 through 10, written to your exact specifications, word counts, and storytelling framework. The cameras capture a wave, a polished smile, a coordinated outfit stepping out of a royal vehicle into a crowd of outstretched hands. That is the version of monarchy the world is allowed to see. Clean, practiced, controlled down to the angle of every handshake. But royal analysts have long observed that behind every coordinated public appearance
Was said in a day when there were a few more people around to make that seem like a justifiable comment.
The world changes a bit.
It changes a bit. I mean,
lies a system designed to absorb pressure that the public never fully witnesses. Queen Camilla smiles at charity events. She attends state banquets. She walks beside King Charles III with the posture of a woman who understands that every photograph will be analysed, every expression dissected, every outfit judged against 3 decades of public opinion that she never fully escaped. Now, consider what that does to a person. Not the title, not the crown. The daily reality of performing composure while knowing that a significant portion of the British public still questions whether you belong in the role you hold. Polling data has shown that while Camilla's approval has improved dramatically since the 1990s, it has never reached the levels enjoyed by other senior royals. That gap between acceptance and genuine public warmth is a space she occupies every single day. Royal commentators have suggested that this kind of sustained public scrutiny creates enormous internal pressure within the family. Not explosive confrontation, something quieter. A constant negotiation between what a person feels privately and what the institution requires them to project publicly. King Charles III faces his own version of this pressure. He took the throne at 73, older than any monarch in British history at the time of their accession. He knows his reign carries an unspoken clock. Every decision he makes is measured not only by what it accomplishes today, but by what it leaves behind for Prince William tomorrow. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, handles pressure differently. She does not negotiate with public opinion. She ignores it. Her approach has been documented across decades of royal coverage. Head down, schedule full, no interest in being liked. Only in being effective. 3 people, 3 responses to the same institutional weight. And each response reveals something critical about how the monarchy processes conflict. Because institutions do not crack from single blows. They crack from sustained, invisible tension, the kind that accumulates quietly across years of forced smiles, managed appearances, and decisions delayed because the cost of acting feels greater than the cost of waiting. Until one day, the cost of waiting becomes impossible to bear. And that moment, according to multiple royal analysts, may already be closer than the palace is willing to admit. Prince William, Prince of Wales, steps off a helicopter at a military facility in Wales. No entourage of 30, no red carpet. A handshake with the base commander. A conversation with service members. Photographs released through Kensington Palace, controlled, purposeful, stripped of excess. This is not accidental. This is a preview. Royal correspondents covering William's public engagements over the past several years have noted a deliberate pattern. Smaller teams, direct interaction, a communication style built around accessibility rather than pageantry. When William speaks publicly, he references mental health, environmental responsibility, homelessness, issues that connect with younger demographics in ways that traditional royal causes historically have not. And this is where the chess analyst must zoom out. Because William is not simply performing the role of Prince of Wales, he is constructing the blueprint for a different kind of reign. The numbers tell a story of their own. The sovereign grant, the public funding mechanism for the monarchy, was set at £86.3 million for the 2023 to 2024 financial year, according to official royal financial reports. That money funds staffing, travel, property maintenance, and the operational cost of keeping the institution running. Every pound is documented. Every pound is subject to public scrutiny. William has reportedly been described by palace insiders, as covered in multiple British press reports, as someone who thinks carefully about the cost-to-value ratio of every royal engagement. Not just in financial terms, in trust terms. Every appearance either builds public confidence or drains it. And in an era where younger Britons show measurably less attachment to the monarchy than their parents and grandparents, every drain matters. Now, connect this to the title discussion. If William inherits a monarchy still carrying unresolved controversies, titles that divide opinion, roles that confuse the public, structures that feel outdated, he inherits a weakened institution. The work of repairing that damage falls on his shoulders. The cost, political, emotional, financial, comes out of his reign. From a strategic perspective, this means that every decision King Charles III makes right now is not just a decision about today, it is a down payment on William's future. A resolved controversy is one fewer problem for the next king. An unresolved controversy is a debt that compounds with interest. Royal biographers have debated whether Charles fully recognizes this dynamic. Some argue he is deeply aware that his slimmed-down monarchy vision is specifically designed to hand William a cleaner, more efficient institution. Others suggest that Charles remains emotionally attached to decisions made during his own long journey to the throne, including decisions about Camilla's role. Either way, the board is shifting. And the piece that will ultimately determine the outcome of this entire game is not the king who sits on the throne today, it is the king who will sit there tomorrow. Two positions, both reasonable, both uncomfortable. And the space between them is where the monarchy's future gets decided. Position 1. Queen Camilla's title should be formally reconsidered. The argument here is institutional, not personal. Supporters of this view, and there are many, documented across public polling and media commentary, argue that the monarchy must prioritise public trust above individual entitlement. They point to the years of controversy. They point to polling numbers that show Camilla's approval consistently trailing other senior royals. They argue that a modern institution cannot afford to carry a permanent symbol of division at its centre, when that institution is already under pressure from declining public interest among younger generations. From this perspective, reconsidering the title is not cruelty. It is correction, a recalibration designed to protect the Crown's long-term credibility. It is the same logic a corporation would apply when a senior executive's public reputation threatens the brand. The individual may have earned the role, but if the role damages the institution must act now. Position 2. Queen Camilla earned her title through nearly 3 decades of sustained public service, documented through the court circular, confirmed by the personal endorsement of Queen Elizabeth II, and formalised through the legal and constitutional process that accompanies every royal accession. Removing that title, or formally downgrading it, would create a precedent that damages the institution far more than any polling number ever could. Supporters of this view argue that stability depends on consistency. If the monarchy demonstrates that a title granted by one sovereign can be revoked by pressure campaigns, public opinion shifts, or internal family dynamics, then no title in the institution is safe. No role carries genuine permanence. And a monarchy without permanence is not a monarchy at all. It is a popularity contest held inside a palace. This is the moral collision at the heart of the entire story. Justice or stability? Accountability or institutional loyalty? The public's emotional memory of Princess Diana versus the constitutional reality of Queen Camilla's legally recognised position. Both sides carry real consequences. choose accountability, and the institution admits it can reverse its own decisions under public pressure, a move that could weaken royal authority for generations. Choose stability, and the institution tells the public that their concerns about representation, legacy, and trust do not carry enough weight to change anything. There is no clean answer. And that is exactly why this decision carries more weight than any single title ever should. Because what the Crown decides here will not stay inside the palace walls. It will echo forward, into William's reign, into the next generation, and into every future debate about what the British monarchy owes the people it serves. 4 figures on a board, 1 institution at a crossroads. And a question that no title change, no public statement, and no palace strategy can fully answer. King Charles III, Queen Camilla, Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, Prince William, Prince of Wales. Each one represents a different chapter in the story of the British monarchy. And the tension between those chapters is not a scandal. It is not a conspiracy. It is the natural, unavoidable result of an ancient institution trying to survive in a world that changes faster than any throne room can keep up with. Charles represents the transition. He is the bridge between his mother's reign, the longest in British history, built on stability, silence, and unwavering consistency, and whatever comes next. His challenge has never been about earning the crown. It has been about proving the crown still matters. Every decision he makes, from the sovereign grant allocation to the slimmed-down monarchy plan to the handling of Camilla's title, is a decision about relevance. Not tradition, relevance. Camilla represents the cost of that transition. Her journey from the most publicly criticised woman in British life to Queen Consort is, by any objective measure, one of the most dramatic personal transformations in modern royal history. But transformation does not erase history, it absorbs it. And the weight of that absorbed history is now pressing against the institution in ways that financial reports and polling data can measure but cannot fully explain. Anne represents the standard, the unshakable, unreformable, uncompromising standard of public duty that the monarchy was built on long before cameras, tabloids, and social media existed. Her career is the answer to a question many people are afraid to ask out loud. What does a royal actually owe the public? Anne's answer has been the same for 50 years. Everything. Without complaint, without fanfare, without expecting gratitude. And William represents the resolution, not because he has all the answers, but because he will inherit every unanswered question. The title debate, the public trust deficit, the generational divide in support for the monarchy, the financial scrutiny, the tabloid pressure, the expectation that a modern king must be both a symbol of tradition and an agent of change. 2 roles that contradict each other in ways that no amount of palace strategy can fully reconcile. This is the monarchy's real battle. It is not a fight between people, it is a fight between eras. The era of silence and duty, Anne's era, is ending. Not because it failed, because the world it was built for no longer exists in the same form. The era of managed image and strategic modernization, William's era, is arriving. Not because it is better, because it is necessary. And the era of transition, Charles and Camilla's era, is the one that will be judged most harshly by history. Because transitions are where mistakes become permanent, where delayed decisions become inherited crises. Where the gap between what the institution says and what the public believes either closes or becomes too wide to repair. Royal commentators across the British press have noted that the monarchy faces a window, not a crisis, but a window, during which the decisions made today will determine the institution's credibility for decades to come. The title is one decision, but it is connected to every other decision the Crown has yet to make, and the institution knows it. In the end, the title was never the full story. It was the lens, the single point through which decades of history, public emotion, institutional strategy, and family loyalty became visible at the same time. Queen Camilla's title did not create the tension inside the monarchy, it revealed it. The way a crack in a wall does not cause the foundation problem. It shows you where the foundation problem already exists. King Charles III knows this, Princess Anne knows this, and Prince William, the man who will one day carry the full weight of this institution on his shoulders, knows this better than anyone. The monarchy does not survive because every decision pleases everyone. It survives because each generation finds the courage to look honestly at what must remain and what must be allowed to change. That negotiation between memory and progress, between loyalty and accountability, between the comfort of tradition and the demand for relevance, is the oldest battle the Crown has ever fought. And it is a battle that never ends. It simply passes from one generation to the next. The title may stay, the title may change, but the question underneath it will outlast every name, every crown, and every headline. What do the people expect from the institution that asks for their trust? And is the institution brave enough to listen to the answer? In the end, the greatest challenge facing any monarchy is not losing a title. It is keeping the trust of the people who give that title meaning. If this story changed how you see the palace, subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter. Every story here is an opportunity to learn, to reflect, and to share your voice. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective matters, and it inspires others who are watching. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And stay close, because the next story coming to this channel will take you even deeper inside the walls of power.